What is the weirdest advice you have heard that is strangely effective? Do you understand that if you try to endlessly stack bricks, no matter how perfect you do it, they will fall over? My boss told me this after I burned out. Just says that no matter how well you plan your work, too much is too much. If you're really shy or struggle with holding conversations or being social, just ask questions. This works in 3 ways. As 1, the other person will be doing most of the talking. 2, they also leave the conversation with a positive feeling because most people enjoy talking about themselves. And 3, it gives the sense that someone is interested in them. Bonus positive feelings about your interaction. I'm an extroverted introvert. I dislike social contacts, but the nature of my job requires ongoing interaction, and being an only child has always required me to make an effort or be on my own. This tactic usually works for me, and people are always surprised when I say I'm actually super introverted. Make them tell you no. It's great when you're not sure if you should apply for a job, go for a promotion or a raise, or do something you're afraid of. Don't be so worried about getting told no or failing. You'll surprise yourself. From my 7-year-old daughter, I still laugh about it today. If you're ever in an awkward situation with someone or need to just go away, you could always pretend to choke on something. I don't know where this came from, but it's funny and it works. You just run away to get a glass of water. If you sit quietly while everyone else fucks up, you're going to win big. John Oliver. I've gotten multiple jobs and school opportunities. I just doing my work and not being a loud moron. If you need to remember something, write it 3x or say it out loud. Weird when you repeat something verbally 3x, especially names. If looking for something in a low light environment, try to use your peripheral vision. I read about it in an old World War II manual about aerial combat at night. It has something to do with how eyes work. It has helped me many times over the years. For finding stuff in a darkened room or outside in a field at night, not aerial combat. Don't give excuses unless they ask for it. If you are late for work, just say that you are late, not why you are late. 2, from elderly Southern relatives. Point 1, something ain't nothing. Taking 5 minutes to work out, clean, work on a big project, etc. is better than 0 minutes. We often think we've got to do 2 hours of rigorous work or it doesn't accomplish anything. 2, time will pass either way. If you want to work to get better at something, accomplish a long-term goal, or change careers or credentials, don't look at the 5 years and think you'll be too old. If you're 24 and want to go to college, you'll be 28 in 4 years with or without a degree, regardless of what you do in that time. Anger and remorse are shadow companions, with remorse always a step behind. I took control over my temper issues by reminding me of this one-liner. Hope this works for you. 2, it's only embarrassing. If you're older I get, the more I understand this. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the awards and feedback. A coworker told me that when someone has the hiccups, you tell them you're not a fish. The amount of times this has worked has convinced me she's a witch. I have texted her at least a half dozen times whenever at one point while I had the hiccups and asked a friend to tell me I'm not a fish. Worked. Fucking sorcery. Sometimes people suck. It really made me stop and think about how some people just suck, and the only thing I can change is how I let it affect me. I became a much less angrier person. I hardly have road rage anymore, and just generally happier. Fail quickly, as in if your plan may not succeed, better to find out next week than next year. Helped me quit a suffocating job and dig into my own business. 10-10. My mother always said, go back to basics whenever I was struggling mentally. I disregarded it for years, but now I live by it. I only utilize this way of living during desperate survival times, but it's amazing advice. If you want to buy something, wait 24 hours, and if you still want to buy afterwards, then buy it. This has really kept my impulse buying down and has made saving money extremely easy. Stressed, upset, panic attack, an ice cube in your hand. Move it around your hand until it slowly melts. It takes about 5 minutes. Primary effect: the cold on your skin grabs your brain's attention. You stop thinking about what was stressing you out and feel present in the moment. Secondary effect: the cold cools your blood, which goes into your heart and slows down the beating. As your heartbeat slows to maintain your body heat, your lungs breathe more slowly as well. It forces you to breathe, which calms you. 5 minutes of this, you will feel much calmer, if slightly drippy. No one thinks about you as much as you do, meaning we're all worried about people thinking about the tiniest embarrassing things we do, when no one really cares. It gave me freedom to take on more challenges and not worrying about failure. I tell my daughter to add the word yet after anything about lacking something. I don't know how to play this game. Becomes I don't know how to play this game yet, that sort of thing. It's meant to redirect negative self-admonishment into a drive to grow and learn. Why something like ooh, I can't make it up this hill while we're out bike riding and then catch me looking at her, give a big eye roll, and go in the exact tone you think a teenage girl would use. Then she ends up sometimes just rage succeeding to prove the point. It's great. She's going to be at least 3 times better than me, low as that bar may be. This is one I came up with to explain my self-esteem. You can't sad your ugly away. I woke up one day after years of torment, a lot of which from myself, and realized that being upset about how I look won't make me any prettier, so I may as well just own my looks. I can fix what I can, but being upset about it ain't gonna do shit. May as well love my fugly self. Loving myself when I felt no one else would, and being happy and enjoying life despite it all. It really is the greatest revenge I could come up with. Don't pass a pig truck on the outside of a sharp curve. My dad, on the occasion of my earning my driver's license, 30 years later, I'm behind a pig truck on some fairly twisty-turny highway. It's going slow AF, so I want to pass, but there's a sharp right-hand curve just ahead. Dad's voice rip. Pops comes down from the heavens like Obi-Wan telling Luke to use the Force, except that it's that same advice. I hang back a few seconds, only to see a sheet of liquid pig feces wash out of the densely packed pig truck's trailer floor. It misses my car completely, but totally coats the 2 cars that went around me and tried to pass the truck. Dad's voice remember, the Force will be with you ... always. When walking among other people, there's a trick to avoid the annoying little who's gonna pass on what side dance, where both of you go left, then both go right and then you finally pass. Take a direction and aim your face towards your intended direction, like look to the left or right of them, clearly turning your head in a single direction. This is a clear signal to people, so there's no confusion as to which way you want to pass them. I haven't had that annoying dance since. For all my daughters or other who struggle with executive function, do chores while waiting. Have something in the oven. Let's see how much laundry you can fold before the timer goes off. Microwave. I bet you can empty the dishwasher in 90 seconds. On a phone call, pop in those earbuds and let's tidy while we talk. I get so hung up on waiting mode, and the novelty of trying to accomplish a small task during that interim feels a bit like a deadline pressure, which is basically the only thing that motivates me. Tricking my brain into a mini-productive panic is startlingly effective. Do not try any drug that will inspire you to suck dick in an alley for more. It's solid advice for young adults. You know, sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage. Just literally 20 seconds of just embarrassing bravery. And I promise you, something great will come of it. Benjamin me. We bought a zoo. To improve your posture, pretend that you are shooting lasers out of your nipples and trying to shoot people in the head. Put a small stool under your feet when pooping, to mimic the natural squatting position. Changed my life. Literally. During the first week after my discovery, had a strong urge to tell all my family and friends about it, but had to restrain myself because of how weird that would sound. So instead I'm sharing this advice with you. There was a guy I met at a family-friendly pub once. He was busking and he had a straw sun hat and mismatched socks. He chatted to my family and came to learn I was deaf and wrote me a letter that says, sometimes it's better to be deaf, because the world isn't listening. And for some reason that's always stuck with me. Get someone to warm to you by asking them for a small favor, not asking to do something for them, but asking them to do something for you. I have no idea why this works, but it does. How to unclog your nose. Close your mouth and pinch your nose so you can't breathe. Shake your head up and down until you need to breath. Remove your hand from your nose and breath through your nose, not your mouth. Been doing this for a while now and it's pretty effective. Counterintuitive maybe, but it helped my anxiety immensely in general. No one cares about you, what you're doing, or gives you a second thought once you're out of their sight. It really helped me to stop being self-conscious all the time when public. Even the people who love you can hold you back. It ain't being nasty. They just don't want to lose you or see you get hurt. They wanted the best for you without realizing their idea of what's best ain't necessarily that. Holding your breath for a prolonged time is extremely effective at getting rid of a boner. Instructions are clear. Do not, I repeat, do not hold your breath until you die, or you may end up getting your boner back. It isn't your job to always find a way to make it work. Sometimes you need to let it fail to expose the bigger issues. Sucking at something is the first step to being sorta good at something. Honestly, it's deflated the embarrassment of making mistakes when learning new things. It's okay to suck at something on your way to okayness. My therapist said, yeah, doing the thing will give you anxiety. So you throw that bitch over your shoulder and take her along for the ride. Other therapists had always focused on making the anxiety go away and distracting myself from it. He was the first person to ever tell me, it's okay to be anxious. It's okay if your coping strategies don't always work. And riding through it anyway, even if you freak out later, is brave as fuck. Under-promise, over-perform. Don't expect to thank absolutely blown away by the amount of upvotes. Everyone keep under-promising and just do your best. Thanks again, everyone. For a perfect high five, look at the elbow of the other person. 100 of the time it'll be a spot-on high five. Wash your clothes with vinegar to remove smells. If you forget wet clothes in the washing machine for too long, they'll smell like mildew. Washing them again doesn't really take the smell away for as many times as you try. Sh them again with 1 liter of white vinegar, no detergent. Do not use balsamic vinegar or whatever. And somehow the end result won't smell to mildew nor vinegar, just like pure clean washed clothes. I expected the vinegar smell to remain, but those clothes were a write-off on my book, so I tried anyway and they came out perfectly. Edit: I just grabbed a 2-liter bottle and poured a bit under half and it worked, but as other comment, just a cup also works. I guess I was adventurous on an all or nothing and poured a lot. Edit: to OFC, I tried washing them again, but the mildew smell would just not go away. Let's just say they sat forgotten for way too long wet in the machine. When someone tells you about their problem, just repeat what they said in your words. That person will like you more as a result. Works every time, and everyone can do it. Feeling sleepy? Turn your head back and look at the ceiling sky for 5 seconds. Edit: to wake up a little bit. Also, seems to work the opposite way for some people. Sorry. Blinking twice when reading info from textbooks to sort of mimic photographic memory. Works for me for some reason. Is it a destiny you want, or is it a destiny that was picked out for you? It helped me figure out who I wanted to be as a person, and who I didn't want to be. Thank you, Uncle Hero. People only hear what they know, no matter how smart or deep a statement is. People will judge it more by how the person presents themselves than how they articulate. Not a hard and fast rule, but it seems to work. It's probably why pop stars with average musical outputs do much better commercially than weird-looking musicians with a lot of talent. Be gentle with her in the morning. Some random guy on Bourbon Street with a mariachi hat during my bachelor party. If you can't decide between 2 equally good options, flip a coin. If you're disappointed with your result, go with the losing side. I once fixed a laptop by following the YouTube advice that included sticking a penny above the CPU and pointing a hair dryer at it for 30 meters. Did not expect that to work out at all, but the laptop was dead and old, so gave it a go. A trainer once told me, don't ever stick your finger or any other appendage anywhere you wouldn't put your dick. I have worked in all kinds of heavy industry settings and still have all my fingers. Drumming your fingers on the back of your head, just behind your ears, works surprisingly well for quieting tinnitus. It only works temporarily, but still offers some relief. Do it anyway. Don't think you'll succeed? Do it anyway. Don't feel like going to the gym? Do it anyway. Don't want to stick to the diet? Do it anyway. Don't feel like getting out of bed, taking care of your basic needs? Do it. Think you'll like it? Do it anyway. Scared of embarrassing yourself? Do it anyway. Think the attractive person will reject you if you ask them out? Do it anyway. Obviously, don't apply this to things that put you in harm's way. But I've been lucky enough to live an interesting, in a good way, life based on this approach. Don't stick your finger anywhere you wouldn't stick your dick. If you don't have a dick, swap that with nipple, or just pretend you have a dick. It has saved me from losing a digit at least twice. Flip the baby to reverse their night-day sleep. A few weeks after our daughter was born, she started sleeping heavily during the day and awake all night long. Nothing we did helped her switch. We tried keeping her awake all day. She just screamed all night. We tried letting her have small naps throughout the day. Awake all night. Honestly, it was a nightmare. I don't even remember who suggested it. Friend, family, absolute stranger. But someone joked about the old wives' tale of flipping a baby to flip their sleep schedule. We felt ridiculous doing it. My husband and I felt so stupid. We flipped out daughter head over heels and upright again. Then we just stared at each other like, now the fuck what? We ate dinner, did bath time, got ready for bed. Didn't think about it. I got ready for yet another night of sleepless horror. She slept 5 hours. This baby, who had never slept longer than 45 minutes at a time, ever, slept 5 whole freaking hours. And just like that, she slept longer at night than during the day. There is no science behind it. There's no evidence. And yet I have already told numerous parents to flip their babies. It fucking worked, like magic. Edit to it because what the hell, there's so many. Hold the baby by the armpits. The top of their head is facing the ceiling. They are eye to eye with you. Then you bring them forward all the way until the top of their head is facing the floor. Their head is at belly button height. You are staring at their ankles. Then you continue until the baby is back upright again, top of head facing the ceiling. You literally put them in a full vertical circle. There's no science to back this. I've met other people who said it didn't work. All I know is for weeks she didn't sleep. We flipped her. She slept. That's all the evidence I need to tell other people to try it. If you pretend to be more confident, over time you'll just become more confident and you won't have to pretend anymore. I was told this in high school and it stuck with me. My DOC told me I was genetically vitamin D deficient through a minor genetic disorder after the expensive and most thorough blood work lab test available on the market. He said I have 2 options, take pills or sunbathe 5 minutes every day with full exposure in the sun. Full exposure completely naked. I chose the latter. Things change. It doesn't mean they get better. You got to make things better. You can't just keep talking and hope for the best. Gregory House NBS 6E to Broken Part 2 helped me reach out to get therapy and medication for my problems. When I need somebody to share my feelings with and nobody listened, or nobody cares happens often, I'm a man, I just make a person up. Sounds stupid, I know. It's just like an imaginary friend we had when we were younger, but it really helps. I close my eyes and start creating a person as detailed as I can, looks, backstory, character and so on. Sometimes it's a good friend, sometimes more something like a sibling. It is really stupid and strange, but it helps with most of my problems and I'm sure it could help other as well. While walking with a full glass or tray of water, try walking naturally and don't pay attention to the water. Your natural gait is even and level, assuming you don't have one leg shorter than the other or anything like that. While walking slow and trying to keep the water level will have the opposite effect. To really find your perfect posture, imagine a claw machine is picking you up by your head and act that out a bit. Screaming is optional. That other person's laser nipple idea is just sticking your chest out. Claw machine is the way. Lived with the agonizing pain of gout for a decade. Multiple medications and treatments never helped. I thought I'd die with crippling arthritis and go insane from the pain. During an attack, a fellow nurse suggested I start drinking cherry juice. I thought she was a homeopathic nut job, but I was willing to try anything. I drank a 32-ounce bottle of pure tart cherry juice. The next day the pain was gone. I drink a little every day for 2 days. My gout has never returned. The stupider you think you look while dancing, the better other people think you are at it. It turns out, it's all about confidence, and nothing says confident like, fuck, I bet I look stupid, but I don't give a fuck. Thanks Mr. Dries, that was great advice. Worried you'll forget about something tomorrow? Put your shoes on a table. MeWire.org. Me, obviously I won't forget. Why, I just put my shoes on the table cause I keep thinking about it, that's the point. On asking my parents how they had such a healthy marriage, we never put you first. They didn't neglect us, they just knew to put each other and their relationship first if they were going to survive parenting 6 kids and make it out okay on the other side. Family time with them and my siblings is now always a highlight of my year because of it. Sometimes you gotta just bite the bullet and admit you were wrong even if you weren't, to save relationships with family and friends. Very solid advice from my dad. Our dog was playing with, i.e. destroying, my mom's shoes, so her sister said that she needed to yell at the shoe. Everyone laughed, of course, but the next time our dog was busy with my mom's shoes, my aunt walked up, grabbed the shoe and yelled at. No more shoes were destroyed or even touched by our dog. If you have an obnoxiously persistent case of hiccups, a digital rectal massage will alleviate them almost immediately, i.e. stick your finger up your ass and wiggle it around. If the hiccups just won't go away, works practically every time. Be open. Be open about how you feel and say what you think. Some of your friends will become even closer friends. Some won't, but you will grow as a person. Also, most people will be nicer to you. I've become happier since I started talking. Still, I have my ups and downs, but overall there is an upgoing line. Anything worth doing is worth doing needs to be swept. Better to sweep most of it but not get all the way in the corners than not do it at all. You want to learn to play the piano, speak another language, etc., but don't have enough time to practice very often. Go for it anyway. Better to learn a little and not be perfect and not do it at all. My whole life changed when I started embracing this concept. My house is cleaner, my yard looks awesome, and my various random skills went up because I accepted the fact that I didn't have to be perfect. Not only did all of those things change for the better, but now I don't view stuff like sweeping as chore, but as something that I actually want to do. Before I left for uni abroad 2013, my late aunt told me, enjoy yourself, mess around, and have a lot sex in front of my parents. The quieter you are, the more your opinion is valued. In order to have your opinion count in the conversation between others, make them starve for what you think. Sometimes they'll just ask you because you've been quiet for so long just listening. Don't say sorry. Say thank you. That doesn't mean never apologize when you fuck up. It means don't apologize if you didn't. Words are powerful, and if you apologize, you give the other person a reason to think you did something. Example, don't say sorry for taking up your time. Instead, say thank you for your time. Heard on Reddit a year ago, if one person is an asshole during your day, then they are an asshole. If everyone is being an asshole during your day, then you are the asshole. Shaving, trimming your pubic hair helps boost your confidence. Thought it was BS at first, but now I do it frequently. Not really weird, but if you can see something, it can see you. Something I learned from: if you're uncomfortable in public, play a character. It doesn't matter if you're nervous, shy, whatever, as long as the character you play is confident, you'll be fine. The stupid explain your code to a duck thing, it fucking works. I explain things that don't work bit by bit to my kids' stuffed animals, and I can guarantee I spot the error 10x quicker than just looking for the error myself or running basic tests. I've been doing this for years and don't really tell many people, but it works great for I'm trying to sleep. I create a movie scene in my head. I've been doing the same scene for years and just focusing on the old school badass martial artist man walking down a path. Rain, clothes and weapons constantly change. Approached by someone or multiple men constantly ensues, and also constantly changing. Could be with hands, not drawing sword, could instantly kill everyone, whatever. I find that focusing in on all the details and getting lost in this story puts me to sleep faster than I realize. It's crazy to me, but I've never made it more than 5 minutes in. What I've detailed is all I've covered before I'm out cold. Don't mistake a lesser evil for the greater good. Being not the worst does not make it the right. Love the discussion. My take on it is that if you are forced to choose between bad and worse, with no option to walk away, then you really don't have a choice. You're simply picking which poison will kill you. By all means disagree with me though, that's your choice. To parents of newborns, just pretend you're not. My very German mother-in-law gave us this advice. I thought it was cruel, but it was actually the best, most practical and effective piece of advice I ever been given in my whole. You are hugely sleep deprived. That's all you can think about. And focusing on it only makes it a million times worse. Pretending you're not tired and simply going on with your day doesn't change the fact that you are tired, or the fact that you still have a long day ahead of you, but it removes the misery of bemoaning your fate. You stop feeling bad about your lack of sleep, or the many hours to go until you can rest again. You just get on with it. For us, that was like a magic trick. It minimized the despair. Let us enjoy the wonderful parts of new parenthood without suffering so much through the parents. Do this. It works.